Hey yo, welcome back to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs. As always, I'm here with AIW owner John Thorne. What's up, Thorne?
I'm here as well. Still recovering from Friday night. I don't know. It just really, it just can, like, AIW show can just really wipe you out for like multiple days.
It was a long day, and then I had my mom's birthday the next day. My mom likes to shoot pool, so she made me go out and shoot some pool with her. So I did Friday and Saturday. I woke up Sunday like I felt like I got like ran over.
Yeah, I know you wanted to record yesterday, and I was like, dude, I'm just not ready for it.
I mean, I just like to put it out there. You know, you put some people in, you put us in tasks and stuff, and I like to try to stay. You know, I throw the text out there. You know what I mean? Ultimately, it's up to you, but I'm always at least going to put it out there. You know, because Sunday evenings,
you got to do it, or else I'll just totally forget about it.
Right. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be annoying, but do you want to record? So, but you know, Sunday, like you said, Sunday nights, it's either golden or it's like you're exhausted. It's either a perfect time because you're like, you know what I mean? It's the end of the week. You know, got nothing going on. You can usually squeeze it in, but when it's an exhausting week, sometimes it's like the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, dude, I just can't do it. You know, just not feeling it. Was not feeling it yesterday. You know, just kind of wanted to really decompress it. You know, I said it in the Discord, but my brain was just like, it was just like going a million miles a minute, you know, since like earlier last week. And then, you know, throughout the show, and then, you know, the success of the show, and then like, you know, to just like finally like slow it back down and like process, you know, just how, I don't even know what the word is, you know, just the entire scope of the situation, you know, and everything, you know, and there was all kinds of stuff that went on throughout the week, and you know, just it was a lot to kind of, you know, finally just wind it back a little bit and just like decompress from everything and process it all. It was like a whirlwind of, you know, a few days there last week. So yeah, didn't want to record yesterday.
It was like this up and down kind of thing. You start the week, and all of a sudden, you know, you find out that you know, Zig is not going to be doing any more bookings and stuff like that. She's going to be taking some time off. So then you had some plans for that. Obviously, you've alluded to, you know, how that match, you know, played out, you know, because some people had thoughts on it or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of an indirect result of that. But it's like up and down, because it's like, you know, the tickets are doing good. You feel like we have a good draw. It just keeps selling more and more. And you're like, then all of a sudden something happens. And then it's like you navigate through that, and then we get to the day of the show, and it's a great number that we have so far. But then all of a sudden you find out people are missing flights, or delays, and, you know, missed connections, yada, yada. It's like one thing after another.
Yeah, it was, there was just so much that went on, you know, over the specifically the last week, you know, and like we don't get any like real we don't get any reports really from Ticketmaster, and it's just like, Matt Wadsworth, like he like runs, he just like pays attention to that website, and then he does like, oh, I'm going to try to buy this many tickets. Like he does like these like weird Ticketmaster formulas, just messing around on the website. And he's just like, this is what I think the number is, you know what I mean? And like, you know, based on, you know, okay, I tried to buy 3 fourth row seats, but you know, there was only, it said they weren't available. Then it said there were 2 available. So there's 2 of these and 1 of the, you know what I mean? And then like,
yeah.
So he goes through like this, I don't know how, he probably spends a while doing it. And then it's like, here's my estimated number today. And then he'll do it, you know, here's my estimated number tomorrow, you know? So like based on like what he was doing, it seemed like we were in a pretty good spot as far as, you know, ticket sales and stuff like that. Interesting though, like it's for sure the largest, at least documented AIW crowd. You know, there was certainly, you know, during the Biggins era, you know, when we were just taking PayPals and like it was a free for all. Like, I mean, who knows if we ever beat that or not. You know, there were certainly some 500 pluses, you know, in those eras for sure. But documented, like this is it, it was, it was pretty big. But interesting enough is we did lower ticket prices, so not the largest gate, which is interesting. I know that Sean Hovan and some people in the Discord were interested in that, thinking it was the largest gate ever, and it's not the largest gate, just based on, we lowered ticket prices. The largest gate was Hell on Earth at 4 Sports with Double J and Matt Cardona, because
say Jeff Jarrett, yeah.
GA tickets were $25 for that. So, that and that was a pretty up there draw, at least 500 plus. So that's the largest gate, so obviously we kind of sold ourselves short, maybe, by reducing those tickets to $15, the GA tickets, but we were looking for heavier volume in the venue and filling those seats.
It looked awesome in there. That like the whole lower bowl was full at certain points of that night for sure. Like you looked on every angle of that camera, and that lower bowl was filled up.
Right, and as the night goes on, it does thin out. That is the unfortunate, collateral damage for how we were forced to run the show, which we were stretching and installing a lot, based on some travel issues, which we'll get into probably later on. But ultimately, just very, very happy with it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the dollars and cents of that Hell on Earth that we were just talking about, that obviously was a tremendous accomplishment. But on the flip side of that, we still have more room to grow in the large room at Temple Live. So I do think that there's a potential to beat that. If we can keep this momentum, you know what I mean? Like from December to this past Friday, you know what I mean? We saw an increase, and I hope that we will see an increase in May with Kurt Angle for Gauntlet. And before I forget, you have to like give Shaw Mason like a ton of props. I mean, everybody pulled their weight. Obviously, there was everybody had that's locally based had their little pockets of people, which all those pockets add up to the final number. But Shaw went above and beyond. Like he drew well over 100 people into that building Friday night.
Yeah, that's wild. I know the number was floating around all night and how many he was expecting and this and that. And yeah, it was loud. They were raucous fans. He definitely had a lot of supporters in the building. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you props to him. He said it. When after December, he said that he wanted to get over 100 people in there just for him. He's certainly been in that 50 range multiple times, but he was determined, and he had so many people in there. He had even a second cousin that I've only met when they were like a kid came because Shaw sold him a ticket. So
he's reaching deep here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just props to him for that, but props really to everybody. I mean, everybody was doing everything they could to get people in that building. The walk up was very, very strong as well. And, want to address that too. They do reduce some fees, but you still have to pay taxes and things like that. It is a legitimate venue. So, it's not just 15 cash, you know what I mean? There was a couple of people that were upset about that, but I mean, that's just, it's a digital world and everything's getting tracked now. And, a lot of those days of here's $15 cash at the door, you're not going to see a lot of that as time goes on. So, just wanted to address that too, because I think, it was 20 something bucks after, taxes and fees. They do reduce the Ticketmaster fees than what you'd pay online, but it's the nature of the beast, man. I don't know. I don't know any way around it, really.
How dare you? How dare you uphold tax laws in this county and not?
I mean, it's just
not, you're not paying us the $15. You're not showing up and handing Pedro a 10 and a 5. You have to still buy a ticket at the box office and yada yada. You're paying taxes. It's unfortunately how the world works in 2024.
And then we get paid, and then we got to pay taxes on it. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
It's just it's just that's the world. Like that's just how it is, and it used to not be like that, but everything is digital anymore. You know what I mean? Like you're paying taxes on your Venmo, transactions after so much money, and PayPal and everything else. It's just, I don't know, like once it's all added up and they give us a check, then we have to pay a lot more taxes, so that fucking sucks for us too. But that's just I guess the price of the evolving market. Things are getting more and more legit and less kind of underground bootleg style like it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, things change. It is what it is. I hate to focus on that, but yeah, it's just I thought it was an overall great night. The amount of people in that building, it's a rocking time. You know what I mean? Everyone's feeling it. The crowd was hot all night. I thought it was a great card, and yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah, and we don't gotta I don't think that we'll probably break down the whole card on this, maybe just kind of give like an overall purview or whatever of the week. But yeah, I mean, I was extremely happy with it, because Nathan Zagura walked in around I don't know, 7:15, and he's like, "Holy shit, did you see it out there?" And I was like, "No, man, I can't look."
You never look, right?
I never look. I don't look. I feel like it's going to be like a jinx or something. I don't look until well after the show starts. And he's like, "Dude, it's fucking crazy. You can't move in the lobby. There's people everywhere." And I was just like, I hope you're telling me the truth, but I'm still not going to look at it right now.
Did you say you told Demolition thanks for the house?
When they left, I did, yeah.
Yeah, they were great, man. I mean, to speak of them, to talk about the meet and greet, obviously don't want to spoil too much of the card if you haven't seen it. Definitely check out the replay. I was watching the show last night because I love to hear, Dustin and Wadsworth and Nathan and those guys. We don't get to hear that in the back. We watch the show, you see that on the monitor, we get the view, but I don't get to hear those guys unless I watch it back. So I always try to watch the show back, review it before we talk about it here. But yeah, the Demolition, man, those guys were great. They came back and hung out for a while. You talked to them. They ended up coming out and doing a little bit of a spot out there and everything. I mean, they were just great.
Yeah, I mean, it was the crazy thing is I had been trying to book them forever, and they were never available. I'm saying years, and they were never available. And we had kind of mapped out our 2024 dates a long time ago. Of course, tentative on the temple and all that stuff, which is, that was always kind of an up and down roller coaster. But, at the end of the day, they had our dates, right? And, if we were going to have to move them, we were sticking to those dates somewhere if we could. So I had booked them in I want to say August or something, whenever we had the schedule, because I was trying to get them for Hell on Earth, and they couldn't do it. I tried to get them at Terror at the Temple. They couldn't do it. I tried to get them for Eye for an Eye. They couldn't do it. I gave them all these dates, and they were like, "Oh, let's go with that March 22nd one." And I'm like, I mean, it was I'm not even exaggerating. It was July or August. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? I'll be in, I'll be in touch in 6 months then, and good on them. They took it, you know what I mean? I followed up with them a few months ago, and I was like, hey, just confirming this again. And they were like, oh yeah, we're all good. They had, and I was mainly dealing with, Smash Barry Darso. And, he said, we're taking less and less, and, we're only doing about 2 bookings a month now. So, we got you, you're good to go in March. And, as we got closer, I started talking to Axe, who Bill Eady, and, they could not have been cooler. So like just total like pro guys, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get. These guys have been around the business for, 40 years, something like that. You know what I mean? Bill Eady probably longer, and like could not have been like more just fucking laid back, cool fucking dudes. You know what I mean?
I swear, I feel like we have a cheat code anymore, man, though. And I swear, it happens every time. Because when I walk down in the lobby, who's standing there next to him talking to him right when they get there? Fonzie.
Oh, yeah, Fonzie.
They all love Fonzie. You know what I mean? They see Fonzie, they get comfortable, and then he tells them, don't worry, Daddy, these guys will take care of you. This is a great place. He lets them know, and that's it. Because they came and sat back. They sat at gorilla position back there behind me. You posted that photo. They sat there for the whole beginning first half until they went out, just at the intermission. It was great. I mean, they were great. Sat back there, talked to everybody. They were giving a bunch of people feedback as they came
they were
through
pulling
the
guys.
stuff.
That was what I thought was crazy. Like, they were pulling guys. They would watch everything on the monitor. And as soon as guys came back through the curtain, they would pull guys aside and tell them what they liked about the match, what they didn't like about the match, what they thought they could do better, what they thought about the finish. And, like, they weren't, like, being, like, dickheads. No. They were just like, hey, like, I think that this is some good feedback, And, like, guys were just like, oh, my God, like, these guys cannot be any fucking cooler.
Yeah.
And, and like you never know, you know what I mean? You never know what you're going to get when you're booking a wrestling legend.
Right.
And they were just awesome. You know what I mean? Like awesome dudes.
They would just care. You could tell they cared the way they were talking to people, and that's like the thing about it is like I always say all the time that I got the best seat in the house because every time stuff like that happens, they grab these guys. That's right when they come through the curtain, so they're standing right next to me. I have no way, I have to. I'm basically forced to listen to what they're saying to, and some of the stuff they tell guys, you're only going to get that kind of insight from a guy who's been in the business for that long. You know what I mean? And it's just so invaluable to these guys. Like, you can't put a price on that. I feel like AIW is such a great place for that because these guys feel so comfortable. They come in here and they really give these guys feedback that they can use going forward. You know what I mean? Like it's valuable shit they tell them.
Oh yeah. Like, and it's just like they could have came there, got their money, signed and left. And like they sat there the whole first half, watched everything, were popping for stuff. Like, them watching Microman, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. These guys fucking hate this. It's a scramble with a 2-foot tall guy and an MMA fighter, 6-foot plus guy, a doctor, Trey Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep my eyes on these guys the whole time. Because like they didn't even see Microman walk by him, so like they had no idea. You know what I mean? Like
right, yeah, because they didn't like go hide. We had green rooms on the other side that they could have totally been away. Somebody could have just came and brought them when they had their turn, thing to do on the mic. But they sat there the whole time, right around everyone. You know what I mean?
And like when they saw Microman, they were going crazy, like popping and clapping. And like cheering it on, and like they thought it was just like the greatest thing ever, and like they clapped for Microman when he came through the curtain. Like it was just it was awesome. I mean, they couldn't have been cooler, and like they both wrote me like really nice texts when they got back to the hotel. Bill said that we were on a first class promotion, and he would love to come back again, and he thought the product was amazing, which you know what I mean. Like that guy, I don't think he's gonna fucking bullshit anybody. You know what I mean? He's like
right, yeah. He doesn't need to blow smoke.
He's like 70-something years old. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to give a fuck. If I like him or like what he says or not. But right. I thought that was great. And Bill, or Barry, same thing. He thanked me for everything, and he said that he hoped that we'll be seeing him again sometime. So I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? Like, and he was like, "Hey man, I just moved to Michigan. Maybe I'll just pop down one day." Just like just stuff like that is just so cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. You know what I mean? It's not Michigan's not that far. You wouldn't have to fly. I mean, you know what I mean? We could get them there quick.
Right. Just such a great experience with those two guys. And I think the meet and greet did pretty well. I think a lot of people really enjoyed meeting them. Saw lots of photos with them on social media. Just super cool. Like I just couldn't. I can't say enough, positive things about Demolition.
Yeah, they were a great meet and greet. We do have some great meet and greets. I feel like we've said it before. We get so lucky with our meet and greet guests. Everyone has been great, but at the Demolition, they just upped the bar this time, man. Like they were so great. It was a good time.
Yeah, and they were just like funny, like just cracking jokes, and you know what I mean, just like funny, just like happy guys.
Yeah, they never at all like looked like annoyed to be there, or just like he felt like just commit, like they just got to be here. You know what I mean? Like they were enjoying it. They were watching out the show and everything. They were interacting with everyone back there, like it, because you got people all over the place. There's plenty of wrestlers that aren't even on the card. People are back there. Everyone's walking around. There's a million people in the back at any given time, and it's just like this controlled chaos, back there, and they like loved it. They loved being back in it. I mean, you could tell they were like, that's like part of, like that's part of it for them. They love that. You know what I mean? Just like we all do.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. And I mean, it was just like, it just couldn't have worked out better to have those guys there, and like I said, just them taking the time to talk to guys when they're coming back through the curtain, and all that stuff, and just give their 2 cents on things, like stuff like that. Is just, to me, it's so cool, when guys have that opportunity to get that sort of, just one-on-one, like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I thought of your work. This is what I would have maybe done differently. This is what I liked. You know what I mean? Maybe try it this way next time. Like, just great stuff, like, spent a lot of time with everybody on that first half. Really spent a lot of time with Chuck Stone and Wes Barkley about their match. Really just awesome. You know what I mean? Just cannot say enough great things about those guys.
Yeah, because that's not like part of the negotiations. You don't say to them okay, you come and do the signing, and you got to sit back there and watch and give everyone pointers. That's not agreed upon. You know what I mean? That they just do that because they want to, which is so cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like a guarantee that any of these guys are going to do it. They do it because they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the best. You know what I mean? Is like, when they're not there for a seminar or anything and feel like they got to teach anybody something. They were just genuinely invested in helping everybody out that they watch perform, which is, you know what I mean, like, that is what wrestling is all about. Just stuff like that is like, it cancels out the 5 bad stories or whatever, you know what I mean, that happen. Like a great night with Demolition cancels everything else out. It's just stuff like that is just amazing. Like, that's just what I love about wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, that coupled with the night with bringing Danhausen back for a return, that guy, I'm sure his meet and greet line was enormous. People love that Danhausen. I'm sure he did great. He was extremely nice. I talked to him for a minute.
I don't think Microman ever found his way out to the merchandise stand because Microman speaks like no English. Like, the communication was just like, had no idea if he knew anything that was going on. Just nods his head at you. Like I said, you could go take photos, make some De Niro. He just nodded his head. Don't think he went down to the gimmick tables. So much so that we almost left him at the venue.
He did that move where he like hit his chest, and then he did like the fist bump. That he kept doing that, hit his chest and then fist bump. Anytime you said something to him, he would shake his head like yes.
Yeah, and then but we almost left him at the venue. I don't even know if you know this story.
As I was leaving, I heard it. Yeah. Yeah.
So they had us. Like, they had like multiple events going on at the temple. There was like a rave or something, and like a band. Like, they have like so many rooms in that friggin' place. So they gave us like this weird room that was like above the merch area to change in. And also, you know, like we had like the regular backstage and all that stuff. So Microman was like over in that other room or whatever, and then he wrestled, and then I don't know, like just never thought about Microman being there again because I didn't see him, you know, in the chaos of the show. And it's like 11:30. You know, we're loading out. The ring is almost out of there. We're cleaning up, and like Tom Dunn's just like, "Hey, who's driving Microman?" I go, "I don't know. I think he left a while ago." He goes, "No, he's just still sitting up in that room all alone over there."
God.
And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, like he's just sitting there. I think he's waiting for somebody to tell him what to do or take him somewhere." And I was just like, "Well, fuck. Like, okay, you know, let me find somebody." And then, you know, I got with Cool Ass Andy. I was like, "Dude, like, you forgot about Microman. You know, you're the head of logistics. How do you forget about Microman?" And, you know, he found somebody, and then he's wheeling down, you know what I mean? All the fans pretty much gone. And Kaplan's in there, and he goes, "Man, nobody would even know that's Microman. He doesn't have his mask on."
You did tell me that. I forgot about that. God, I love Kaplan so much, man. He is the absolute just best human ever. And, you know, so funny, speaking of Kaplan, we didn't even bring up, you know, Demolition got to have Kaplan jerky. I'm sitting there getting to listen to Kaplan talk shop with Demolition about jerky, and Kaplan's telling him, "Oh yeah, you got to get a dehydrator."
Oh,
he's
yeah.
telling him the brand. So before he even walked up, I don't know if he met him in the lobby or wherever he had previously given him the jerky. So they're sitting back there behind me eating the jerky before he came, and I'm hearing their review without Kaplan around. They're just talking to each other, sitting behind me, and they were into Kaplan's jerky. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is good. Like, that kid knows what he's doing." You know, like they're like playing, they're like saying they like it, you know. So then Kaplan comes up and they're talking to him, and that was a treat on its own, was just getting to hear Kaplan and Demolition chop it up jerky style, and he's telling him, you know, all, you know, what he does, and you know, he's convincing him he's got to get a dehydrator.
He was telling he's telling Bill Eadie what kind of meat dehydrators that he should purchase for you know, if he wants to get his own jerky operation going at his house.
Because he's like, I've been thinking about it, you know, like what do you you know, recommend? And Kaplan he's rattling stuff off. It was top notch. That was a great time.
I mean, that was like one of, you know, that was just one of the glorious things that you experience backstage, is like Kaplan just talking to those guys and just like talking jerky shop, not even talking wrestling. You know what I mean? He's like, let's talk meats, you know, yes. Like let's talk meats, axe and smash.
It was great.
You know, he's just like, yeah, you know, he's pulling up Amazon and he's like, yeah, you know, you can get this one. I got this one. This one's pretty good. You know, I get this kind of meat, and you know, this is the whole process. Like, I mean, Kaplan probably had a 25-minute conversation with Demolition about, you know, how to make jerky, and it was like, I wish I could have heard 1/10 of it. You know what I mean? Like, I heard bits and pieces of it.
Oh yeah.
But but Kaplan seeing Microman wheel his little suitcase out and goes, the people wouldn't even know it's Microman. He doesn't have his mask on.
This is fucking incredible. I wish I could have hear him say that, because it's just, oh man, it's Kaplan.
Because he said it like Kaplan has kind of like a deadpan comedy to him sometimes.
Yeah,
he just said it so matter of fact, like
convincing,
people wouldn't even know that's Microman. He doesn't have his mask on.
It's like when he was telling people he's the bouncer. He just says these things to you with such a straight face that you just like, Jesus Christ, Kaplan.
That was so funny when he was like, "Hey, ID." And people were just like giving him his ID. He's like, I don't know. You got anything else? You know, I don't know. This is expired.
Oh, what a joy. That's like what I was saying about AW. It's like you get people that aren't even, you know, Kaplan wasn't even on the card. He's just there slanging jerky. You know what I mean? Did we have a jerky ad in the stream? I thought Chase was saying he put a jerky ad in there for Kaplan.
They were talking about doing it. I don't know if they did it. Like, we were, because Chase is like, you know, he's like so like WWE brained. He wants like the JVC Kaboom Box of the Week clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, well, we gotta get a sponsor for it, but like maybe you can use like Kaplan's jerky as like a proof of concept. Yeah. You know, and then like I forget what we settled on, like, you know, the jerk of the week or something. I don't know.
It was something like that. Yeah, he said something.
Like we were going back and forth last week, and it was like the jerk of the week, like presented by Kaplan's Meats or something. Like, I don't know. Like he was trying to think of like a way to do it. I have not watched the stream back yet, so I don't know if it was on there or not.
I only got like a little before intermission. I was watching it last night, and then I looked over at the clock and I was like, geez, I gotta go to bed. So, but anything else you want to discuss? I know we did have some obstacles to overcome, with the card. We found out,
Oh, dude, like my day was just like, well, my like multiple days was just crazy. So like, I got the news obviously a little bit before the general public got the news of, Ziggy's going to be stepping back from wrestling indefinitely right now, which, did throw a wrench in quite a bit of what was going on. Like this angle was started with a final destination in mind.
Yeah.
With Magnum and Ziggy and Katie and Derek, and maybe one day we'll really get into what the final destination was to be. But this was, Friday was supposed to be kind of another chapter in building towards that, and that was the plan. I will reveal, the original plan was Ziggy was going to get involved in FE&CK, and Effie was going to call out, some reinforcements, which was Danhausen, and they were going to reform Gatanic Panic, and it was going to be a tag match of Effie and Danhausen versus CK and Ziggy. So we could kind of keep things going with the Pick Your Poison thing as far as him and Derek, and it was still going to be a fun segment, and, it was going to, ultimately establish, CK and Ziggy, as, they were going to continue their collision course with Katie and Derek. That obviously went out the window, which, Ziggy has her reasons. She did post a pretty lengthy statement on social media for anybody that is unaware of what we're talking about. Ziggy did release a statement Saturday morning, just explaining that she is going to be canceling her bookings, effective immediately, and taking a hiatus from wrestling. So that was the whole purpose as to why we booked Danhausen. We got that information before Friday, but the card was already put together, the things were already formulated, and we were kind of stuck, you know what I mean, with we were in the middle of this angle. We booked Danhausen, don't want to add a 10th match.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the major problem, really, is like we already have 9 matches, and it's like you can't cut any of those. We had previously stated on this podcast that, and I think it proved it Friday night. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Every one of those matches, could have been a headlining match. So we were already backs against the wall as far as what we were going to do, Yeah,
it's just like, it's, we were just kind of stuck, you know what I mean? And, so we came up with the audible. I spoke to Demolition, and I just said, hey, would you guys mind cutting a promo, and you bring Danhausen? And I hate 3-ways, but, it was really the only solution to make that a 3-way.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is, really. I mean, there was nothing we could really do. I don't know how possible it's going to be, but I know Danhausen definitely said he was open to coming back. So, hey, maybe in the future you'll get a full, because I know people had complained, he was just thrown into the match. They felt like it was, thrown together or too quick. Like maybe wasn't in there for long enough for their liking or whatever. I don't know. But, I don't think the door's closed on Danhausen. I feel like confident I could say that, especially I asked him what he, wants to do music wise. So it sounded like he was. I don't know if we can afford, if you can afford him, Thorne. But I know he's open to it.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You know what I mean? There's always possibilities. You know what I mean? I think we made the best of the situation. Obviously, it was. it wasn't the original plan. You know what I mean? It was it was an audible. You know what I mean? And we had to make the best of it. And I thought getting Demolition out there for a little pop, and Danhausen was obviously going to be a pop, and people loved Effie. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like the deck was kind of stacked against CK in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, that was the unfortunate result of how we had to make this audible. Because, Ziggy was beloved by the IW fans, obviously, you know what I mean? And CK is, but, when you got these two other really beloved figures in all of wrestling, you know what I mean? It's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, I thought he made the best of it. I thought their match was really good. I know Demolition loved it. They were sitting there cracking up. They enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, I thought overall Friday. I mean, there was other hurdles we had to overcome. You've stated before we were kind of stretching the show. I know Alec Price had flight delays getting there, so he was landing way later than previously anticipated.
Yes. Dude, it wasn't a flight delay. I'm gonna have to throw Alec Price under the bus.
Okay, I wasn't gonna do it. If you wanted to, you can. But I wasn't gonna do it.
I woke up at 8. Alec Price was supposed to land at 8. I had a missed call from Alec Price at like 6. I had texts from Josh Bishop, all stating that he missed his flight because of, TSA situation. He had a laptop in his bag or something, and then they caused him to miss the flight. I mean, I think he might have been cutting it a little close if that's where we're at. But regardless, that's the story. Is the laptop was in his bag was they kept scanning his bag or something at TSA, and then he missed the flight. So, and that was the only JetBlue flight to Cleveland for the day. Ugh. So there were no other standby options or anything. Luckily, I woke up, at 8 o'clock in the morning and looked at my phone, and I had to bite the bullet, and I had to book him a brand new flight, in which he was gonna land at like 5 p.m. Then Joey Janela, same thing. He's coming from Toronto. He has checked bags, and they said the cutoff for the bags was 90 minutes in advance. He was there under the 90-minute window. They would not let him check his bag for his flight. So they rerouted him to Newark, then Newark to Cleveland, because they wouldn't put him on the original flight that I had for him from Toronto. Then the second new flight was delayed, and then when he got to Newark, the connection had already left, and he was supposed to land at 7 p.m. on that. So then they rebooked him again, and he didn't land until 9:30 p.m. on Friday night, which was why if it was up to me, I would have wanted the show to be a little tighter. We've been running pretty tight windows of shows. We've been, ending, reasonably time-wise for the last few months. Other than some things here or there, which, are usually, stall reasons anyway. But we really had to stretch for time and stall because, I mean, honestly, I don't know what we were going to do if that third flight, that was taking off at 7:30 p.m. didn't take off. I don't know what we were going to do. You know what I mean? Like,
he just wouldn't have made it for sure. I don't know how he makes it there.
I would have had to have been rebooking live, as the show was going. So, he took off, and then it was just like okay, when's he going to land? Sometimes it takes long to deplane. All this different stuff, can happen once you do land. So that match was supposed to go on 7th. We flipped it to 8. Told everything to take more time than was initially allotted, to stretch, you know what I mean? All this, stretch things out.
Yeah.
Which, added it made for a longer night, you know what I mean? And that wasn't initially the plan, but we were trying to make it work, and I really didn't want Joey and Derek to close the show over the absolute title either.
Right.
So we were trying to, stretch it, and he literally he put his gear on before he left Newark underneath his clothes, and he left his checked bag at the airport. He didn't wait for it. We sent 2 people to the airport, 1 person to be behind the wheel of the car, 1 person to flag him down once he was, coming out of the, coming down to like the baggage claim area.
Yeah.
Got him right in a car, gunned it to the venue, had somebody waiting at the door, on the side door of the venue, opened it up, rushed him to the back. Derek's music was playing when he walked into the back of the into the locker room, the backstage. Derek's entrance music was playing. They had absolutely no time to discuss anything that they were going to do. Derek had to go to the ring because we were live. And Joey was getting dressed, and I even tweeted it. I said, Joey Janela is not even dressed in his gear right now. He literally walked into this building 1 minute ago.
Yeah, because we were letting things run. There were several times when Chase would tell me, hit a pose out there. We're gonna let it run for a minute. And a lot of times he will direct me as far as hit this person, hit the music, hit this music, whatever, because he's doing cues with camera cuts, and he's got all this stuff like dialed in anymore. So he a lot of times is cueing me when to hit people's music, and he says hit Derek's music, and I'm going, okay, where's Derek? He wasn't even there. And again, this was you've only said this to me one other time, yeah. But you said it doesn't matter, hit the music because they'll show up, they'll hear it. It's their fucking music, they'll hear it.
They'll hear their music. They'll go. They'll make their way out of the curtain eventually. You know what I mean? But like, we had no time left to stall at all.
Right.
So it was just like, and then they went out there and they went for like 25 minutes, like on the fly.
Yeah. And he said, because I was talking about him after talking to him about it, and he is like, yeah, we had some things planned and then didn't do a single one of them because they had like texted back and forth an idea of things, I guess, prior while Joey was flying. But they didn't get to speak, face to face at all. But I guess none of that all went out the window, and they just went out there and did crazy shit. And it was funny because he came back and he's typical Joey. I've heard him say this to you many times. Sorry, Thorne, I went a little long out there. And you said to him, it's our word. What'd you tell him?
Oh,
we waited like all day for you to get. You traveled all day or something.
I was like, I figured after you had to travel all day long, you'd want to get your time in. That's what I told him.
Yeah. So it was like, it was all good.
It was fine. Literally like, it was probably like a 12+ hour travel day. He started the day in Toronto, then wound up in Newark, got delayed, and then Newark to Cleveland. I mean, it was, because his flight, his first original flight was supposed to land at noon. Like, it was supposed to land at noon in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then he didn't land until 9:30. So he was in the airport for probably well over 12 hours. So yeah, I mean, I figured that they were gonna, especially with having no opportunity to really talk, other than, they sent some text before Joey took off, but once he took off, he was kind of in the dark, what I mean? And like Derek and Katie were just like dressed, and like, we got the word that he'd landed and he was on his way to the venue, and that was it, we're just like, you gotta go, you know what I mean? If he's not here, you're going to be cutting a promo until he, walks in. Yeah. And, he walked in right when Dex and Eric Taylor ended and like Derek's music was playing. And, I just told Derek and Katie to, try to stretch their entrance a little bit. And, I think even Joey didn't go out right away when his music played. But, he got changed. Like, he just, like I said, he had his gear on underneath his clothes. I think he had to put like his wrestling shoes on, like change his shoes real quick. And, he just went right to the ring, which is honestly crazy.
Yeah, it was like funny, I guess. I don't know if that's the word for it, but like, you see these guys before the match, guys, girls, whatever, everyone's, going over their stuff and talking to each other. Derek was just sitting in that room for like the longest time, like, cause Joey wasn't there. So you could tell he like didn't know what to do with himself. Like he wasn't used to that.
I think he was very just like unsure of like what was about to happen.
Right?
Because it's just like you usually have like all day to like, okay,
yeah,
okay, maybe like let's change this or let's do that, and like he just literally sat there all day with nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it was weird. He was just stuck in that little room, like in that side over there. He was just like sitting in there with the Duke and Katie, and then I was in there, me and him, I think all four of us just ganged up on Battis and started making fun of Ed. I think it made Derek feel a little better.
That's easy to do, is gang up on Bats.
Did I tell you? I told you what happened with the sandwiches, right?
Oh, I was there. Were Bats got your DoorDash delivered 7 blocks away or something?
So he's like, we're getting food, right? Because I don't leave, because the one time forever ago, as soon as I walked out the door to get food, they needed something. They Cardona wanted to test a mic for a promo or something. I'm like, I'm never leaving again. I just get food delivered, because as soon as I walk out the door, somebody's going to need something. So I always just stay there, and I'll order something to wherever we're at. And Battis is like, I'm in on food this time, so let me know. And I'm like, okay. So we order food, and it's like getting later and later, and so we're like right about to open doors, and I'm like, I 100% cannot leave and go. Like, we have to start playing music, and it's like, I cannot walk away from this board right now. You have to go get the food for DoorDash. Like, they're not going to bring it to the front, you have to go out to Euclid Avenue and like get it from them, you know what I mean? Which I put very specifically in the directions right where to go. And I don't know, he went out there and was gone for like 20 minutes, comes back, and he's like, I don't know, man. Look where he dropped it off. He called me and said, I'm here. I'll see you later, and said, here's where the food is, and sent him a picture, and it was on Prospect Avenue, like 2 blocks away. Luckily, the picture that they sent shows the address right in it, like, because it was like printed above the door, so I could easily be like, yeah, this does not match anywhere near where he was supposed to deliver it, you know what I mean? So I got like a refund or whatever. But Battis just like, he could have easily been like, oh no, you're on Prospect, just go 2 blocks over in your car. It will take 60 seconds, you know what I mean, to Euclid at 36, and I will get these sandwiches. Nope, he's just like, all right, I'll see you later, and hangs up the phone. Freaking turd.
Yeah.
So they show a picture. They send me a picture on DoorDash of just a bag of sandwiches sitting in front of a building. Duke was like, "Where'd they leave it?" I was like, "On Prospect Road." He's like, "Where?" I was like, "Just literally in front of a door, on a freaking sidewalk in front of a door. Just set the sandwiches there,
just randomly."
Yeah.
So. Did you see those weird pictures Battis took though?
With he took one of me, and it's just the absolute worst photo of my face. I think I take horrible photos as is, so I'm not blaming Battis. I just make stupid faces, and mine is so bad I didn't even post it, because everyone was posting theirs with like the weird like 3-ring whatever, like that jewel thing he had, which they look really cool. Just mine,
come on, Battis, you got to give me notice you're taking photos. I got to hit like a steam room or something real quick to take my face out a little bit,
Yeah, you got to really you got to like.
I'm only putting this one on the story so it goes away.
Everybody changed theirs to like their profile pic, and I didn't even post mine. I'm like, I look horrible in this one.
I wasn't. I was like all stressed out. You know what I mean? I haven't shaved in a couple days. I was like, come on, Battis. He's like, stand right there. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, just look up. And I'm like, what do you do? Like, and then he's like, snap. I was like, what? I don't want my picture taken, Battis.
I don't mind it. I tell him to take photos of me so I can send them to my wife, make me look cool. But that one, I just didn't look cool. So
yeah, I wasn't looking that cool either.
So I mean, that was pretty much the night for the most part. I don't.
Oh, speaking of looking cool though, I did have some people inquire what were all those gigantic cameras doing at the show.
Oh yeah.
And, some people that have been coming to AIW for a long time have probably seen them there before. There's been an ongoing AIW documentary in production for a while. It's been kind of several years of them collecting footage at different times and different eras kind of AIW. They were coming as far back as the Odeon shows pre-COVID, and then, filmed during COVID. They were at the Brit show at the Tadmor Shrine.
Yeah, they were in Akron too, I think, right?
Yeah, and then they came to what they thought was going to maybe wrap it up on Friday, following Josh Bishop and Tyler Jordan. And then, they just discovered like 20 more different threads that they want to explore, which is great. Like I was like, hey man, like let's get a docuseries going or something, but, super, it's super legit. You know what I mean? They had some really expensive cameras in there every time.
Dude, the amount of equipment. Oh my God. The amount of equipment they had was crazy.
I know, and they're trying to do these like interviews, and then here comes like the temple. They're like, "No, we're sound checking right now." It's like, just like, I know that they were pissed.
I felt so bad, but I'm like, what? There's nothing I can do. I am at the mercy of that guy, and he's running those 4 other rooms. You know what I mean? So like, he even said it. This is a direct quote from the song. That the filming of their documentary is the last on his priority list, and I'm like, ooh, like I felt really bad. But you know me, I was not trying to make anyone mad, and I only have a certain amount of seconds that I can get this guy's like turn the board on, yada yada, dude. Because I know they all came back. Somebody came back there and they're like, they're recording something out there. I'm like, oh my, great.
Yeah, because they did and they set up all this lighting and all this stuff, in the empty stands to do an interview. And just like, oh God. But like, we weren't even like, people couldn't even practice like in the ring really, like there was just so much documenting going on.
So there was another time in the night where people were like, turn these fucking lights on back here. I can't see anything. We're trying to do a thing. I'm not saying anything who it was, but we needed the lights on. So like at that very moment, Kevin, the light guy, comes by and he's like, "Oh, you need the lights on?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, and you can't. That's the thing that some people don't understand with these venues too, is we cannot touch anything. I cannot touch a single thing back there. The curtain drape, like the rope, the light box, anything. It's all like legalities for like unions and like people who work there, like to pull the rope to let the curtain down, you have to like take a class to like work there and do that and be certified to drop the rope. You have to literally yell, "Curtain coming down." There's like all these protocols that you have to do. So like we can't just like touch anything. I can't just walk over the thing and be like, "Turn the lights on." So at this very moment, Kevin walks by and he's like, "Oh, you need the lights on?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I don't know they're filming anything out there, So he's like, "Yeah, I can turn them on for you."
Like
turns the lights on.
They like boom. Set up all these like fancy lights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, to like, I mean, it's a real like production company, you know what I mean? So it's just like any interview, it's like got like all these different like lightings and these like backdrops and these like, like just, it's totally out of our realm of what we do. And it's just like every little thing they do, it takes like 40 minutes to set up a shot, and it's just like, and like Jay's like, "Turn these fucking lights on," and like, I don't give a fuck what's going. I don't give a fuck what they're doing out there.
Yeah, and I get in trouble. I'm like, God damn it! I got in trouble so many times.
Like when this is on fucking some streaming service, it's gonna make us look really cool. Like, bring a flashlight. Come on.
Yeah, the amount of shit sandwiches I ate on Friday before doors even opened, dude, was a record because I was having a great time. I love it. I love AIW. It's my favorite thing. I'm like, all right, what do we need to do? Give me a task.
I'm just caught in the crossfire of everything.
Everybody was somebody even said that. Why is everyone so pissed off tonight? I'm like, I'm not. I'm feeling great. So I'm trying to put out everyone's fires, because people are pissed and moaning, blah blah. So I'm trying to help everyone out. And yeah, I ate like a few shit sandwiches on Friday. It was sucked. That's why I was so mad at Battis for not getting my freaking food because doors are opening. I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. You know what I mean? I'm taking shit all day.
Yeah, and I just was like, I woke up like it was just an awful day. You know what I mean? Like an awful few days. The Ziggy stuff, like the flight stuff that I woke up to. You know what I mean? Like various other, issues throughout the day. And I just kept saying, I'm just trying to remain positive. I know that we got a lot of tickets sold today, and I'm just trying to remain positive. I was trying to like not be stressed out at all because Josh Bishop's mom says we're too doom and gloom on this podcast. So I was trying to maintain positivity on Friday, and man,
it's getting tested for sure.
I was tested a lot. On Friday. Like great, amazing, incredibly successful, like you cannot argue with that, but like the shit that was going on all day long, like, was really testing my patience, with the flights and the switching the shows around and not knowing what's going on. And, just
it was just one thing after another on Friday.
Chase is whipping chairs. It almost hit me. You know what I mean? Like, he was mad,
Dude, I do not know what is up with this brand of monitor that he had. We had monitor issues again with the this time with the commentary. They're doing, intense TV, so Dustin was really busy all day Friday. He was trying to get stuff done, so some other things were behind, and we didn't get the commentary table set up, so I'm looking for a table. I'm doing all this. I couldn't find a smaller table. We could only get 8-foot tables. They were pissed off, and then the Wadsworth's like, "Oh, no more. This is fine. Like, that's fine." And so him and I are trying to hook up the monitor. The monitor it will not work. So, Chase, they're his monitors. It's his setup as far as, how that all links together. And we're trying to ask him, but he's doing a million other things, and he was overwhelmed. I know the biggest thing is that he was sick. I know he was really not feeling well. So he just was totally under the weather, and there was just so many things going on all night. So it was like we were all getting it from every angle. Friday was a really weird pre-production type deal, but
it was. And I mean, like, finally Chase got into a good mood about, after intermission, you know what I mean? Because, like, that is also half the battle is, like, let's keep, let's keep Chase, the eye on the ball, and, like, I'm trying to give him some fucking massages back there. Cause, like, come on, dude, like, let's, you know what I mean? Like, relax. It's going to be okay.
Well, I think he lets things bother him that are out of his control as far as, like, because he said to everyone, like, listen, if you're going to do some fucking wild dive, tell me about it so I can say, hey, Caleb, make sure you're in the corner for blah, 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 so to catch the dive, yada, yada. And something will happen. And if he doesn't hit it correctly, if he doesn't like how he cuts it or how it gets, when he's producing, because he doesn't know, he puts it on himself and he gets mad, and then he gets, but about halfway through intermission, I felt like he was really clicking on the shots and stuff. As we were watching the monitor, I thought that the show looked really good. I think he was really starting to, get out of the funk. He maybe was feeling a little bit better,
Yeah, he was sick all week too,
yeah.
Like, and it's just like, I love, like, busting his balls, but, like, sometimes it's just like he's teetering on the edge there, you know what I mean? And I try to just bring him back down, just come on, man, like, I'm not stressed, like, I understand you're a perfectionist, but, at the end of the day, it's my show, and I don't think, like, if I'm not going to be that stressed about it, like, you should not be as stressed about it. You know what I mean? Like, and just come on, like, let's all get through it. Like, there's so many dumb things that we have to deal with throughout the day. Like, let's kind of enjoy this part of the process. Cause once the train leaves the station, and the show starts, like, that is when it gets, you know what I mean? It gets fun. And that's when Chase really kind of, like, lives in the moment, you know what I mean? Like, that's when he is like that's when he is in his element. But, like, the pre-production stuff, man, he is just like, man, he is a ball of stress that I've never seen. You know what I mean? Like,
firing those damn energy drinks. He drinks like 1,000 milligrams.
Well, that's kind of my fault, because he was, like, so sick, and he was just, like, lethargic and tired, like, just like a sick person. I'm like, Chase, man, you might want to up the energy drinks today, brother, because, like, man, I never seen you this slow motion. And then all of a sudden, chairs are whipping by my head, and I go, oh man, he must have gotten into those Zoas.
He had a couple ooze juices, and he was vibing.
Yeah, then he's whipping chairs and, throwing laptops, and, like, I was like, ooh, okay, you know what I mean? He's got a little pep in his step now.
Remember when he spiked my phone off the ground and he realized that it wasn't his phone and it was my phone? And just the look on his face was so good.
That was an Accord, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was just so funny because he's just a very passionate guy, and he was so pissed. And when he realized that it wasn't his phone, he was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, just the look on his face. And obviously the phone was fine, so it was whatever. It was actually hilarious. But the initial reaction when he looked down and realized it was my phone and not his, it was so good.
It did kind of break him back into reality, though. So,
yeah, we all laughed about it. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, it's fine." It literally like gets carpet back there in Akron, so it literally just bounced up almost as high as the table, and I almost grabbed it out of the air, and it was totally fine.
It's like he scored the last touchdown of the Super Bowl.
Oh man, it was fun. But yeah, that was. I thought it was a great show. Record-setting evening. One for the books. I'm very excited where we're going forward here in AIW. That's for sure.
I hope so. You know what I mean? Like
Kurt Angle coming up, baby. It's gonna be sick.
I mean, we got 3 shows. Advertised, tickets on sale. I don't think we've ever been this efficient before. I hope that, we can continue the momentum. I hope, the Mercury Lounge, continues to kind of, build and have its own little, universe sort of thing going on. I hope, and, speaking of Chase, I think that Leap is going to be, ready to go on Triller TV Plus very soon. I didn't want to, I wasn't trying to push him to get that out. There's just so many projects that, he is like heading up, like he's, doing Intense TV. He's doing these packages. He's, editing, stuff. He's going on the road and doing the production at Black Label and Alpha One. You know what I mean? He's a busy guy. So, but I think that that's going to be ready to go soon. We're doing it the same way, with Big Trouble. We're not going to stream it live. It is going to be kind of like a live only sort of thing, and then it'll eventually make its way to Triller TV Plus. 420 show. I mean, that in itself should draw AW on 420. I think Saturday all day. Weather should be nice. You know what I mean? Like everyone should be out for that.
That grill better be going in the parking lot of the Shrine. That's all I'm saying. I'm coming out there. There better be hot dogs. That's all I'm saying.
Frightmare and Hollow Wicked making their returns to pro wrestling on 420. We got a lot. We have a pretty sick card lined up. Trying it a little differently though this time. Obviously with the Stan Hansen situation, we did do well, so we are gonna try it in Akron with no advertised big star meet and greet and see how we do. See if the AW experience has planted enough roots in the Akron area to get people out to fill that shrine with just us. So it's going to be a big test on 420. I think we can do it. I think that we've always excelled in the area since we've started going to the Tadmor Shrine a few years ago. So it was time to give it a shot, and I think we're going to see how it goes. But if everything comes together the way it is looking on paper right now, it is a fucking sick card. And then we have we're going to do the Cybernetico de Mayo Trace at the Mercury Lounge on May 2nd, I believe. And then back at the Temple, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend, Kurt Angle, the 19th anniversary of AIW. We were born on Memorial Day weekend in 2005, so that's pretty crazy.
And Gauntlet at a new venue now. I like this. I can't wait to see Gauntlet at the Temple. That's going to be sick. Kurt Angle, though, I mean, that's going to be incredible. 420, though, not to get too far away from that one. That, I know a lot of people have their, their opinions about some of the venues and where we're at, yada, yada. Akron is a perfect one, man. You show up, free parking, you know what I mean? There's no, we are getting, the fees on the Eventbrite end on the Akron shows, but, there's no fees like that people have, qualms with. So Akron's going to be a perfect one to come out.
There's small fees on Eventbrite, but, it's not like Ticketmaster. But, here's the thing is, for whatever reason, Temple is, I don't know if it makes us look more legit or what, but the crowds are going up, and it is drawing in way more first time people, you know what I mean? That have never come to AW before. We got so many emails and comments and things over the weekend, first show, loved it, can't wait to come back again. I don't know if it's demolition, if it's the venue, if it's, what, because, when we were at the Odeon, we weren't doing a ton of meet and greet people just based on the size of the Odeon. I mean, the biggest
there's like nowhere to do it.
The biggest one we ever did there was ICP, and like you could not move in the Odeon, So we weren't doing like super big meet and greets there. So, Cleveland's kind of been lacking on the meet and greet department. So, that's what we've been trying to bring to the temple. And it's, I don't know what it is, but it's clicking, trust me. I know the reasoning why people don't like it. But seeing wrestling in that room is, in my opinion, it's worth it because it looks so fucking awesome in there, and the acoustics are great, and there's room, and people can, aren't, on top of each other. Like, there's, I think you got to just kind of look at, what you're paying for and, what you're getting. And, like that is just such a beautiful, beautiful venue and room. It's just the nature of the beast anymore. Like I said at the top of the show, it's just, that is, you're going to get that at a Guardians game, a Cavs game, a concert, like I'm sure SummerSlam is going to be crazy with fees, like all that shit.
Dude, I can't imagine what the lowest tickets are going to be for that.
But, just all kinds of stuff like that, it's just, it sucks. It's just the way of the fucking world right now, and all I can say is I appreciate, everybody kind of looking, past that stuff and still supporting us when we're at the temple, because, you cannot argue with that attendance that was there Friday, like that's just,
right.
It's amazing. And, trust me, we all understand what is not liked about the temple, and we certainly appreciate everybody that still comes out and supports us because it's us, because they want to see the show. And, we're just thankful that people, can look past some of that stuff because, it showed on Friday. I mean, that just, that is a truly just a group effort of the entire, Northeast Ohio wrestling scene in a sense, to come out, because, there were a lot of shows this weekend and none of them came close to that fucking number. And, that is a true testament to the fans of AIW.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely thank all the fans, because without you, he ain't running the big room without people showing up. We've said it several times. They kind of gave us the ball and let us, kind of run with it. What per se, with, because those first couple shows back, after moving from that smaller room, if we would have drew, worse and worse and worse, we ultimately would have been back upstairs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there is a possibility that we are going to move upstairs for the JLIT weekend again, just based on, the animal that weekend is, and, how it did last year. I think that, in their schedule, obviously, in the fall, it's going to get tight because they are getting bigger and bigger things in that venue. We have kind of the benefit of, we're in that realm where bigger shows kind of move outdoors around here, as the weather breaks.
Yeah.
But, once you hit into that fall and, winter, I'm sure it's going to be, tougher to get into that big space. So we just got to keep the, the foot on the gas, so to speak, and continue to deliver. But, I did kind of agree with them that, JLIT moving to that smaller room upstairs might help overall, you know what I mean? It might help fill it out. It might help us, just make it more of a marquee sort of thing, to where, it's the JLITs did okay, you know what I mean? But in that big room, it didn't, you know what I mean? But if you put it in the smaller room, it's gonna look better, you know what I mean? Like, obviously ticket prices are gonna have to increase because there's gonna be a cap on GA and stuff like that. But, which, we saw that cap at that first show that we were in there, it was jammed, the 216 show with X-Pac. So, we're always just trying to think of ways to make everything better and, even everything out and give people a good experience. So, that's just kind of where we're at right now. And who knows, maybe they could come at us and say, hey, let's keep it in the big room.
Yeah.
But
Never know.
As of now, the conversations are that they do want to move Jail at Weekend upstairs, but that's not going to be until late September at this point, because I know that we did post the dates on Patreon a long time ago, and the Jail at dates are going to change just again based on their scheduling. Sometimes they get a big tour that wants to come through, and that's going to make them a lot more money than AIW is going to make them.
Right. Well, we can get in all that, a little closer to the date, but we hope to see everybody out April 11th at the Mercury Music Lounge, and then 420 in Akron for Frightmare and Hallowicked. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here? I know we've been rolling for quite a minute here.
No, I just want to thank everybody again that came out to the show or streamed it live. If you didn't stream it, the VOD is available now on Triller Plus TV. Get those views up for us. It is a contract year, as I'm going to keep reminding everybody. So we got to show our worth to Triller and continue to deliver some big numbers. They're very happy with us, but I want them to be happier with us. That's just I don't know. I just feel like we are clicking into that gear that we were hitting right before COVID. I feel like things are just really falling into place right now, and I just want to keep the momentum going and building, and I'm sure the wheels are going to fall off eventually, but it's been almost 20 years, so let's
pedal to the gas till they do, I guess, brother.
I know. Let's just it's time to speed it up a little bit and see what kind of trouble we can get into.
Hell yeah! All right, well, for AIW, for John Thorne, for myself, we'll see everybody next week. Thanks.